What's going on, everyone? Juice Bags here, and welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, the Lycan's Keep update for Dungeon Defenders Awaken did go live yesterday on Steam and on Xbox. Today we're going to go through the patch notes. This will be a little bit long as there's a lot here, and give some suggestions on where returning players should start off, as if you're just coming back to the game, where I know a lot of folks are, you may wonder what you should be doing. So let's hop right on in and get these patch notes gone through. As always, there will be links to everything and then timestamps down below where you can jump forward through various parts of what you want to see. Now, first things first, there is a 2-week long login reward. So sometime within the next 2 weeks from yesterday, you're going to want to just log into Dungeon Defenders Awakened and pick up your reward. The reward is going to be this mushroom hat, the Royal Mushroom Crown, as seen here on the Warden, the newest playable hero. Make sure you log in. All you have to do is log in. You don't have to do anything else. So just log in, collect a reward, and you'll have it forever. Now, as Chromatic mentioned prior, there is some DLC support packs that will be added in that are cosmetics only if you choose to support the game further. You're going to have the Gator Gear, which is this set shown in this image above. And then you're going to have chromatic costumes and the Dungeon Defenders 1 paper masks. These are all just cosmetic items, and you can purchase them through the various stores if you choose to. Now, one of the most exciting things about the update is the new heroes. Now, I'll be doing full hero spotlights on both of these in the next couple days. However, we've got the Warden, which is the reimagined Dryad from Dungeon Defenders 2. The Warden is quite powerful as a builder. Now, I'm not a big fan of melee, as most of you know, and the Warden is a melee damage hero. So, as a builder, she is quite strong. As melee, strong as well, but you have to be wanting to play that melee playstyle. The Warden is going to be one of the few heroes in the game that has just about all of their defenses are viable. The Warden has got one defense that is a little bit of a bummer, and that is the Shroomy Pit. However, the Wisp Den, the Beaming Blossoms, and the Sludge Launcher are just absolutely all incredible defenses, and will be viable for you, and extremely powerful early game if you're just starting. Then we've got the DPS-only hero, the Rogue. The Rogue is, without question, the best DPS hero in the game. So if you're looking for a strong DPS hero to burn through bosses, will be a key component of every group, really. The Rogue is going to be your go-to hero. Just super strong, very fun to play, extremely mobile, and getting around the map quick, and can just dish out the pain, no doubt about it. Now, there is hero deck and level changes. The new level cap is 105, assuming that it's going to go up 5 levels each one of these episodic updates. And it is even easier to level your heroes up, as we have a 6-hero deck now. So you can have 6 heroes in your deck, so 6 individual fusion defenses if you choose to, or you could be leveling 6 heroes at a time. So you definitely want to keep your deck full and make sure you're taking advantage of all of the heroes available now. Now, there is some new pets added into the game. We've got the Happy Hera, shoots exploding projectiles that deal damage to nearby enemies and restores HP for each enemy hit. Kind of a no-brainer. This will be a tank and spank type pet. If you're looking to stay alive and tank things out, this will probably be the pet for you. Next up is the Raging Zeus, shoots exploding projectiles that deal damage to nearby enemies and a chance to stun when attacking. There's the new pet, the Lycan Prince, which provides a bonus armor to nearby heroes. It doesn't appear that this armor goes over the cap, though, so if you're already at the armor cap, this may not be the best pet for you to use. Now, we'll have to see if that stays true, and if it does allow you to stack additional armor. Then we've got the Demon Duke. It attacks enemies with both melee and ranged attacks. So a little bit of a mini Demon Lord there, and just wrecking it up. Now, there's also some changes to existing pets, quite a few of them. All ranged pets were made better, Melee pets were made better as well, with increased hitboxes and, in a lot of cases, increased damage. Quite a listing of them all here. Now, DPS pets in general are still kind of a meme. They're not super powerful in Dungeon Defenders Awaken. However, pretty much all pets got some form of buff in this update. Now, the big meat of the update is Act 4. We've got 4 new maps. We've got the Mill, which is the returning version of Misty Mire Forest. We've got the Outpost, which is themed from the Drakenfrost Resort in Dungeon Defenders 2. And then we've got the Keep, and this is the new highest difficulty map and where the new boss, the Lycan King, can be found. There's a bonus map for Act 4 as well, which is Foundries and Forges. And I gotta say, this map, it's been on the Steam store page since super early, so I know it's had a lot of development time. But boy, this map just looks and feels absolutely glorious as you're playing it. Now we've got the newest enemies. We've got the Lycan, of course. The Lycan is going to be introduced in Act 4, and it is a big old baddie werewolf. The Lycan is going to howl, which is going to empower himself and nearby enemies. The Lycan does get prioritized by towers, so you're going to want to make sure that you're pew-pewing the Lycan and getting them wrecked out before they get too close. And then the new boss, of course, as we discussed, the Lycan King. The Lycan King is the newest boss, drops some nice loot, and it is a very challenging fight, no doubt, particularly in survival mode. And then there's gear changes. Gear changes as we know it. Stats have changed. Ammo and reload speed have been removed. Agility now scales with your hero level. So as you level up, once you hit level 50, you will be at the max movement speed. Block scales based on the source of attack, with smaller enemies taking less block resources and stronger enemies taking more. This is a new mechanic for the Squire. Casting now scales with your hero level up to a cap, and additionally, there is a casting passive that can roll on accessories, which can make your building and repairs almost instant. Charge rate was changed, as it's now baked into abilities that charge, like the Apprentice's secondary attack. Knockback is scaling off of specific weapons independently. Melee attack, ranged attack, and elemental attack are now merged into one damage stat, so you no longer have the elemental damage or the physical damage. It's now just damage. The damage scaling is the same as before, though. Projectile counts scales with a monk's level on polearms. Now, I gotta say, there is some new projectile shot patterns, which are pretty darn nice. These are going to scale up to 7 potential projectiles. And then, as I mentioned, the unique boss weapons, they have a shot pattern that is super nice now, particularly in that 7 projectile form. Projectile speed is going to scale on specific weapons independently. Each weapon will have their own projectile speed. Skill and boost have now been merged into one ability stat. So the ability stat affects all of your abilities. This is going to be your C and F on mouse and keyboard, and just the one stat will scale both abilities up. And then now there's crit and crit scaling stacks. These affect melee only. So if you're a melee character, you are going to have a critical strike chance and critical strike damage added in to your melee damage. Now, item stats were changed quite a bit on what pieces they drop on, and this made it so it's a lot easier for you to turn a traditional builder hero into an active DPS player. Weapons are going to be your hero damaging stacks only. On your offhand weapon as well, remember that is a weapon also. Now, tower stats are going to be on all of your armor plus on your accessories. So masks, bracers, and brooches will all have tower stats. The offhands, as I mentioned, are a form of a weapon. They are going to be different for each different hero, and they are going to have the hero stats as well. Now there is the item effects, or commonly referred to as passive system, and this is where really a lot of the power gains come from in this update, and it's something that's going to allow Chromatic to build on Dungeon Defenders Awakened in the future. Things like irradiate on a weapon, a 9% chance that your primary attacks will irradiate the enemy for 2 seconds, dealing 2.39% of their damage every 1 second, and the effect, of their health every 1 second, and the effect is reduced on bosses. There's a wide variety of passives. As far as DPS heroes go, irradiate seems like it's king. However, there's some very interesting passives on builder stuff. So builder set bonuses are going to have very nice passes, or builder sets are going to have very nice passives, and you're going to want to look at those. It's not just about getting your 4 stats and getting a decent amount of upgrades anymore. Now it's going to be about getting the passives as well, so it adds another layer into farming up that perfect set. There is new set bonuses, which are all listed down for defenses, increasing poison damage, lightning damage, fire damage, etc. Obviously, you would want to put these sets on, a fire damage set. You would want on a non-rifted, say, Flame Burst Apprentice. And it's similar to Fusion Gear in how it functions. However, Fusion Gear is still going to be your go-to from Rifted mode. However, these are some very interesting sets as far as playing through non-Rifted mode. Additionally, with the sets, there is now weapon sets. The main hand, offhand, have a set. There's Thundering Assault, increases your hero's lightning damage. Plagued Assault, poison damage. Erupting Assault, fire damage, etc., etc. And then there's also kind of more generic sets, which are actually really, really powerful. There's the Inspired Assault, increases your hero's damage a straight up 20%. There's the Ethereal Champion, increases the damage, crit bonus, and attributes of all equipped set pieces by 30%. This can be quite large as well. There's the Ethereal Marksman, increases the damage, attack rate, and attributes of all equipped set pieces by 20%. Just lots of good set bonuses with the weapons. Now, with that in mind, of course, there is new weapons. The best weapons, of course, are going to drop in Act 4, and the meatiest of all the weapons is going to be from the Keep. So you're going to want those boss weapons. The game has always been about boss weapons, and no difference here. We got a new higher difficulty boss, which means a new best-in-slot weapon. Now, the inventory and UI have completely been changed. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to. You're just going to have to go through and play with it. It's completely different. The UI is just changed up quite a bit. Some of it seems very intuitive, some of it not so much. However, it's just going to be a matter of getting used to the new system. It does look nice. The art is nice on the UI. The little icons, bag inventory icons, etc. are all quite nice looking. Now, stats and the spellbook are both implemented. Stats is going to show you exactly what each stat does for you. So you can go and highlight each individual stat on the stat page, and it's going to tell you exactly what each stat means. Then there's the spellbook, which gives you more detail on your individual abilities. Each individual ability is going to be outlined in the spellbook. Now, reforging items is something that's been tested or talked about for a while. Say you upgrade a piece, you wish that you would have done something different, and it's a really good piece you don't want to get rid of. You can now reforge that item and get rid of the upgrades. Reforging the item doesn't cost any gold, however, you will have to repurchase the upgrades to get those upgrade values back. And then there's the tests game mode. This is a way to unlock cosmetics in the game. There's 3 different tests with 3 different difficulties of each one. There is the Demon Lord, there is the Mech Boss, and then there is the Ancient Dragon. All 3 of these tests come in 3 different difficulties, and each one is going to offer a different cosmetic set, which is going to be wings or a back piece. They're very fun to do. The Mech Boss is quite difficult in comparison to the other 2. However, they are all quite doable, no doubt. And with Act 4 comes some changes to Rifted mode, and that is the Rifted Portals. Rifted Portals are alternate spawn points that are going to spawn in an area on the Rifted Act 4 maps. and it's going to basically move up the enemy spawn point. Now, the rifted portals you can destroy, and you're going to want to, not just because it's going to move the enemies up, but also because it's going to have the chance of dropping rifted loot or fusion gear. So you're going to get random fusion gear drops from these rifted portals. It is quite rare, however, you will see them without a doubt. And then, in my particular opinion, the biggest thing to come in the update is bonus waves. One of the difficulties we've had, particularly with fine-tuning a set of fusion gear, is a lower-end map that has a specific fusion drop is going to be lower quality. Well, that is no longer a thing, as now there is bonus waves. So depending on which boss you have killed, you can unlock a bonus wave all the way up to the Lycan King. Now, this is for killing that boss in survival mode, and it goes all the way up. So the Demon Lord, the Mech Boss, the Ancient Dragon, and the Lycan King. Once you kill that boss in survival mode, you're going to unlock that bonus wave, which can be applied to any other survival map, which means on these survival maps, you're going to get a wave 26, which is going to be at an increased difficulty, but it's also going to drop that map's loot at a higher quality pool. And then there are lots of new achievements. With the new achievements are also coming some new trophies in the tavern, so there's lots more things to go through and unlock. Now, there was quite a few changes in balance to different defenses and heroes. I'm not going to go through all of that, but it is listed down in the patch notes below. There was changes to multiplayer enemy HP and enemy balance, and then there was a whole slew of bug fixes. Now, the full link to the patch notes below will be down in the description, and a lot of people are going to ask, what do you do if you're returning and just jumping back in? And the thing for you to do as a returning player is, without a doubt, play the new content, have some fun, make the new heroes, but you are going to get massive improvements to your gear just by doing the bonus waves. So say you haven't played in several months, you've got a fine-tuned set of, say, Massacre Rifted gear that you went through and grinded out, but you can still get huge improvements to that with the new passive system, additionally by going back and doing the bonus waves. So if that item that you needed dropped from Deeper Well before, and you just couldn't get a high-quality roll, you can go back and do a bonus wave now, and you're already going to have the Ancient Dragon bonus wave unlocked if you killed the Ancient Dragon previously. So Ancient Dragon bonus waves are going to give you far superior loot than what we used to get on every map going all the way up to the Ancient Dragon. So this is going to be a way for you to jump back in, gain some immediate power, and get ready to take on Act 4. Now, when it comes to Act 4, playing through the campaign mode won't be too difficult for a player that's already geared out in older gear. However, the survival modes can get quite challenging, particularly the Keep and the Lycan King fight. Quite the challenge there, and you're going to want to patch yourself up with some of that Ancient Dragon bonus wave gear before you take that fight on. So as I mentioned, there will be a link down to the patch notes in the description below, and then also timestamps to jump on through the entire enchilada. But that will do it for now. I will be live later on today, farming up some of the new hotness in Dungeon Defenders Awaken right here on the channel. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see ya next time around. Take it easy.